30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Wednesday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee. In fact, it is Chamber of Commerce kind of stuff. It is about as nice as it can get. And so that's the good news. The bad news, might get a little rain in the next few days. But you know what? Into each life, some rain must fall. Let's check in Murfreesboro. Say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, how are you?
George, I didn't realize you were becoming a meteorologist.
Oh, I listen, I've had that skill for a long time.
Is that right?
Kelly, back when you were, 1998, where would you have been?
That's a good 1998. I was in with the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. April 16th, 1998. One of the craziest shows I've ever done. It was when the tornado hit not only downtown Nashville, but then destroyed the Gaylord corporate building. We were at WTN at the time, owned by Gaylord, about 2 blocks away from where the tornado hit the corporate building. So I was on the air for about 4 hours that day, and I would basically take wherever it looked like the tornado was headed, and I would ask somebody from that area to call me and tell me what was going on. Oh, I played meteorologist that day. We also sent Greg Ruff out into downtown Nashville, and he was dumb enough to agree to do it. And I bet he'll never do that again.
I think that was a time when we were, what time of the year was that, George? Was it springtime?
April. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. For some reason, I think we were here, and I think it might have hit Murfreesboro here over in Barfield somewhere. So, I don't know. That was, They say we've now become the
Tornado Alley.
Tornado Alley. I mean, it's not in Kansas and Oklahoma anymore. It's Middle Tennessee, which is crazy.
Tell you another area that's really gotten hit hard is Tuscaloosa.
Oh, absolutely.
Man.
Yeah. Here and south of here, man, it's really boiling up here lately. Yeah.
What'd you watch last night?
Well, I watched the I'm quite shocked that, your bet of the day did not work in the first game. That was unbelievable. I cannot believe how this Boston Celtics laid an egg like they did. I mean, they weren't even in the game. It was unbelievable. Now, Joel Embiid played really good. The Maxey kid played well. I mean, they just took it to them on their home court. I was quite shocked at that. I watched that, and then, I started watching the Denver game, and obviously me getting older now, I need some sleep,
Tell me about it.
I watched till about halftime, and every game in Denver so far has not been a game. I mean, they've blown them out. The 2 games in Phoenix have been games, so it's I don't know. It wasn't worth watching.
I would say this. There are a lot of people out there that don't get into the NBA who live here, and I get that, to each their own.
Right.
I enjoy the playoffs. If you were going to watch one game and one game only for a year, tomorrow night, Boston at Philly might be that game.
Could be that game. I think Boston is better than they are, but
they're not.
I don't know.
It.
What's that?
They're not proving it.
They're not. They're really not. Jason Tatum and the Brown kid. I mean, they're really good, but they just played really bad last night. Got booed off the court by their own fans.
Yeah,
they were talking about that this morning on SportsCenter. I mean, obviously that was last night, but they just did not play good at all.
The truth of the matter is that the Celtics have not looked just lights out in the playoffs in general. The Hawks pushed them around a lot in the first series and won a couple of games. And I don't know. There seems like something missing in Boston. And it may well be the coach. It may not be. If you're not around it every day, there's no way to know. But here's what I do know. Philly wins tomorrow night. Celtics out.
Yeah, and I'd say that they'll probably get, it happens in professional basketball. If, that seems like they've been together for a while, and if they're not getting it done, they're going to make some moves. So it's probably, if they lose, like you said, if they lose to Philly, you'll probably see a new roster for the Boston Celtics next year.
You'll definitely see some level of overhaul. By the way, congratulations to the Seattle Kraken. Dallas just scored again.
Hey, I thought you were going to be good on all three of your picks, and you only got one of them.
I know. I thought I was too. It's a tough life. That's why they call it gambling.
That's right.
Not easy. Billy, were you rooting for me or against me?
Oh, I was for you, George.
Yeah,
how could I be against you?
Sure,
you sign his checks, George. He's always going to be for you.
Oh, I don't think even that does it. I think he's like you. I think he watches in hope that this will just be a disaster because he knows, in fairness, if I'm going to win, I'm going to gloat. And right now, there's no gloating.
Yeah, if George wins,
there's no joy in Mudville.
We got to sit here and listen to George gloat about himself. Watson used to love that.
Yes, he did, didn't he? He will return one of these days, probably in July.
After his, what do you keep calling it? The senior tour?
The senior tour that he's gone on.
And I'm still, I'm David's not on camera right now, but I'm still like, are we going to get in the opening anytime soon? Like, are we part of the show?
I don't know.
Are we even part of the show?
I don't know. That there are a lot of things to take care of, a lot of administrative duties with this
is that
show.
right?
I know you don't believe that.
I do believe that. I know how hard it is. I really know how hard it is. Yeah. I get it.
It just has not gotten to the top of this list. When it does, there's the list. I'll let you know.
Well, can we get to the top of the list? We're part of the show. He does David does the questions of the day, the stat of the day. He's done a really good job. He stumps us,
done a very nice job.
Yeah, it's not very hard, but we're still, and I know Watson's your guy. I know y'all are buddies from way past. I get it, but can a brother get in the opening or something? What are we doing?
We'll surprise you here one day, Kelly.
I'm sure
It'll be a good day.
Yeah, I'm sure
it'll be.
I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
No, I would say for your timetable, summer solstice. I don't even know what a solstice is.
We'll get the opening.
Let's look that up in a little while. Find out what a solstice really is. I use the word a lot. I don't even know what the hell it means. What do you got? Do you have an update?
I do, George. Y'all talked about the Sixers. Of course, they beat the Celtics. They lead the series 3-2. The last time the Sixers made the conference finals was in 2001 with Allen Iverson. I didn't know it was that far back.
Yeah,
practice.
They played against Kobe and Shaq, right?
We're talking about practice.
They ended up losing that series in 5. I think it was. I think the Lakers beat up on them.
We didn't practice enough.
We're talking about practice here. This practice, man. We're talking about practice.
I just happened to see the video of it a few days ago. It's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Because he keeps going, practice.
We talking about practice, man. This is practice.
Nuggets beat the Suns 118-102.
We know that. We already said that.
Jokic passed Wilt Chamberlain for the most triple-doubles by a center, which I thought was interesting. Tonight, Game 5 Heat at the Knicks. Miami looking to win that series tonight, as well as the Lakers. They can win the series tonight over the Warriors.
Not happening.
Who would have thought?
Not happening tonight.
They going back to the Chase Center?
You better believe they are. Did I have that? I don't even have that as one of the games.
No play.
But LA does not win it tonight.
Well, they are the latest.
Do they, Kelly?
I would say no. I'm with you. I would say no. If any team in these playoffs could come back from a 3-game deficit, a 3-1 hole, I think it would be the Golden State Warriors. They've done it before. They're a championship team. They can do it. I don't know. I don't know if, LeBron is still a force to be reckoned with. And if he, I just don't think he'll let it happen, but I don't know. I think tonight, I don't think they win tonight. It's going to go back to LA, but
that's when the rubber will meet the road.
Yes, exactly.
We shall see. Lakers, Warriors.
We've already told you. You can take it to the bank.
I guess I might.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are plus 300 to win the NBA title. The Lakers are also plus 300 right now, according to Caesar Sportsbook. And then you got the Sixers and the Celtics at plus 340, both at plus 340. So the Lakers have moved up the ladder.
You want an opinion?
Let's hear it.
I think we've shortchanged Denver.
You think so?
And I probably shortchanged the Lakers as well. I mean, they're getting it done.
I think AD has been the X factor there for the Lakers.
When he plays well, they're really good.
Really good.
When he doesn't, they're not.
They're really bad.
Yes. Thank you.
George, you mentioned the high scoring games in the NHL. Stars, they just scored again. So it's now 8-3. They beat the Kraken last night.
That's my line. You let me use that.
They beat the Kraken 6-3. They tie the series at 2. Hurricanes were all over the Devils. And I think we know who's going to win that series. Tonight, Maple Leafs and Panthers in Florida. Florida goes for the sweep tonight. So
hold on. Put the guys' comments up there.
That's
for a second. Let's put that up there. Kelly needs to be in the intro for crying out loud.
Seriously, thank you.
Oh,
whoever that
what?
is,
the fans are clamoring for it.
Get over it.
I mean, good gracious.
There are a lot of issues in the world. This is not one of them.
This is a gym. This is a gym shoe operation we're running here. I mean, we're on a tight budget. We understand that, but like this is gym shoe-ish.
What would Coach Moore say?
Son, we're running a gym shoe operation here. You're about to go out boots first.
Wow. Well, he's accurate about that. What else you got?
The London games. The Titans are playing the Ravens in London.
We will discuss at length later.
8:30 kickoff on Sunday, October 15th. So
what package of television do we have to buy to see this thing?
That is a good question. Is it the Amazon, David? I'll have to check into that. But
I think it's on Al Jazeera.
Or Mizlu.
Stadium. Somewhere online. You got to buy it. You got to buy it somehow. So.
Keep working.
Tiger Woods is going to sit out of the PGA Championship. Jordan Spieth has entered, so there won't be a surprise appearance from Tiger. And it's a field that includes 99 of the top 100 in the world ranking, no matter what tour they play, for the second major of the year, scheduled for May 18th at Oak Hill Country Club up in New York. So no Tiger. And you got to start to think, is this sort of the beginning of the end of the road for Tiger in some of these major championships? Does he play in another major?
Oh, I don't think he gives in this easy, but I think he knows the 19th hole is close at hand.
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
When he was playing in the Masters, he did not, he made the cut barely. And then, he looked like when it started raining and his foot was messed up, he did not want to be there. And I can understand that. I mean, I'm like that, but I didn't. So on the PGA Championship, I didn't realize that they were going to let the live guys come because it's a PGA Tour event. I mean, the Masters is not with the PGA, the U.S. Open, obviously, and the British Open, but I figured the PGA, I didn't know that they would let those guys in.
So they are.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also interesting. Tiger's 47, right? But you've also got a guy like Fred Couples still playing out there. Now, whether he's playing at a high level or not, but he's 63. So it's just interesting to see how Tiger, he's only 47. It's not like he's getting old, but there's older players out there that haven't lost it like Tiger has, at least stamina-wise.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a reason. This is not how he would have been had, the accident not happened.
This is the accident.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is not.
Here's another thing I'm going to ask you, George, about Fred Couples, man. He won one major. He won the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can remember as a kid when I was growing up and I got into golf, like he was like the thing. And don't you think if he would have put a little bit more time and effort into it, he's got a beautiful swing still, like one of the prettiest swings ever. But don't you think if he would have put in more time that he would have had multiple majors?
Well, I've got to plead ignorant. What I know, PGA Golf Tour can be a little shaky.
Yeah.
Did he have the reputation of not really working at it very hard?
Just, I don't know that either. I just always thought that, he should have won multiple. And the reason that people don't, you look at Ben Hogan, you look at, a guy worked constantly, Tiger Woods with all his, ability. The guy's a grinder, you see all those guys that are grinders. I just thought that,
Right.
And he's still a great golfer. Obviously he made the cut this year, but I just always thought that he would get more majors.
I think, listen, I don't know. I do know this. I could practice until the cows come home.
Right.
It isn't going to matter. It's not going to get much better.
Well, you got to have some ability.
Yeah. Billy, are you finished with the award-winning update?
I'm done with it. That's it.
Did you miss out on a couple of stories?
Maybe. What you got, George?
Well, here J.J. Redick's interviewing in Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Bob Huggins is staying at West Virginia.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up because we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
We got to talk about stuff like that. Let's get into it.
Well, let's just say
what are you going to say about Bob Huggins?
Let's just say this. There's some people out there who would have gotten fired.
Absolutely.
Period.
I think I'm with you, George. I think that, he says what's on his mind, obviously, and it's kind of the way I think as well. But, other people would have been fired on the spot.
Yes. You and I probably would be two of them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pac-Man Jones was asked about it. Of course, he played at West Virginia.
Yes.
He said that's just how it is up in West Virginia.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Let's he's certainly an alum they're awfully proud of. Let's do this. We'll go to the break, and then we will hear from Kelly's former teammate and good friend, University of Kentucky star Tim Couch, who's got a lot to say about Will Levis and a few other things. Stick around. This is an interview you're going to want to hear from the beautiful Ford Ice Center in Bellevue.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. Now that the weather has gotten considerably warmer, there's not a better place to spend a morning or an afternoon than Riverside Golf Links. So you've probably noticed the weather has gotten a lot warmer, and that means a couple of things in Nashville. It means baseball, and it really means golf. And for me, it's a visit to Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. There are now 27 holes, including a 9-hole executive course. If you want tee times or more information, dial them up at 615-847-5074.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
As we promised earlier, we're headed up to the Commonwealth to talk with former University of Kentucky star quarterback Tim Couch. Now, I think most of you know that Tim and Kelly Holcomb were teammates together with the Cleveland Browns. Tim, I'll start it this way and then let Kelly finish. I guess the word I feel bad for you. How long did you have to put up with this?
Too long, man. I tell you.
Hey, don't feel bad for him, man. He's a clown just like I am. Don't feel bad for him.
It was the two of us together in the locker room, man. It was nonstop. We were always playing jokes on each other, playing pranks on other teammates, and we hit it off pretty quickly when Kelly first got to Cleveland. It was pretty much an instant friendship, and still friends to this day. So, man, it was a great time. Yeah, come on down here sometime and try and do a show with him. See how that works. Oh, he's annoying as hell now. There ain't no question. You got to put up with him. Kelly, say hello to your former Cleveland Brown teammate.
Well, we had a really good time, man. I just told the guys that we had a room full of Southern guys. We had myself, we had Josh Booty, who's from LSU, and then we had Nate Hibble, who's he started out at Georgia and he went to Oklahoma. So we had a good room, man. Coach Smith was kind of the guy that kept us together, man, but it was really fun. It was really fun. So here's what I want to know, Timmy. All right, so Will Levis is a new Tennessee Titan. Just give us a little background on him, man. We've asked everybody. I know I've talked to you about him. He came off a little arrogant on one of the things he said, but from everything we're getting is he's not that type of dude. I mean, I know he played through a lot of injuries last year, but everybody's just trying to find out about the new quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, Kel, I think some of that process of going through the combine and some of that stuff, where you're really out there and you have to sell yourself. Teams are sitting there asking you, the media's asking you, why should you be drafted ahead of this guy or that guy? And it's almost like a job interview. It is a job interview where you're out there trying to sell yourself. You're trying to show tell teams what you're going to bring to the table. And I guess, that rubs some people the wrong way. Will talking about, his arm is the strongest of any arm in the last few draft classes and things like that. But, I have known Will personally for the last couple of years since he's been in Lexington. And we've gotten to be really good friends and talk to him all the time. And he's a great person, and nothing like the way he comes out, the way that, maybe some people thought he came off in some of those interviews. The guy is an absolute leader. He's the hardest working guy that you're going to have on your team. The guys really respond to him. They rally around him. He's tough as nails. This year played with a separated shoulder. He had a toe injury where he couldn't really run and do the things that he did the year before. But I love the guy. I think he's got all the talent in the world. You talk about the intangibles with the size and the arm strength, the athletic ability. He checks all the boxes there. And on top of that, like I said, he's a great teammate, a hard worker, a great leader. He brings a lot to the table. He is, maybe a little raw in certain areas, some pocket presence, some footwork, some mechanical things. But, he's only been a 2-year starter. When he transferred from Penn State, he had only, he had played a little bit, but he wasn't the starter there. When they would bring him in, it was more, he was like a running type of quarterback in certain packages in their offense. And, he's really been in a pro-style offense at Kentucky the last 2 years with our coordinators here. So I think he's ready to go in the NFL. I think he'll pick up the system quickly, and he's going to be an excellent player. Well, talk to us a little bit about, because I watched the draft doing this show now. You have to keep up with stuff. So I watched the draft. You went through that draft process, but how, like it kind of hurt me, man, to watch him, kind of fall because, and I've told the guys, I felt like, I don't know, leading up to the draft, you hear so many rumors, you hear so many things about guys falling or rising. And, they were saying that CJ Stroud was falling, that Will Levis was rising. And I was like, I felt like after the draft, they used him as a patsy. And, it was kind of humiliating on, you know how that is, man. It's always somebody like Aaron Rodgers a long time ago. He thought he was going to get drafted. He did, and eventually got drafted in the first round, but like Will Levis fell all the way to the second round. So, that kind of made me feel for the kid. I mean, it was kind of a humiliating process right there. And I'm sure that's going to give him some fire. Yeah, I think so, Kel. I talked to Will the day before the draft, and I texted him and just kind of, was saying, hey, soak this in. This is going to be a process that you won't forget. Obviously, I didn't know that he was going to fall out of the first round. I thought he was going to be a top 5 pick. And, just really encouraging him to take a minute,
and embrace that day and embrace that process, because when you're there at the draft, you get pulled in a million different directions and your mind's going crazy, just wondering where you're going to be drafted and those kind of things. So, for me to, knowing Will like I do, to sit there and watch him have to go through that was tough as his friend. I knew he was really struggling on the inside. I think he did a good job of holding up back there and playing it off. But, he was tore up on the inside of having to deal with that. But it definitely fueled to the fire. If you know Will, he's a highly motivated guy. Anyway, he doesn't need much extra fuel, but this will certainly do it. And like I told him after he got drafted, I texted him and said, listen, man, it doesn't matter how you get to the NFL, you're in the door now. And that's all you can ask for is an opportunity. And, once you get your opportunity, you better be ready to take advantage of it. But, really, it doesn't matter how you come in. It's about doing the right things and staying there for as long as you can.
Do you think, looking at where he's going, do you think he's one of those guys would definitely benefit sitting a little bit, being behind somebody? Because, I've always, everybody down here they're down on Ryan Tannehill. I like Ryan Tannehill. I think he's a really good quarterback. I mean, I think he's had his struggles. Just like, we both know this. When you play the quarterback position, you're going to struggle. You're going to have adversity, and Ryan Tannehill's had that. But do you think that that's a good fit for him, maybe to watch a little bit? And then if the season's going bad, then they can stick Will in there. So do you think that's a good fit for him coming to the Titans?
Yeah, I do. I really think it's a perfect situation. I know the way that played out and falling out of the first round was tough on him, but I think ultimately it ended up working out perfectly for Will. I think the style of play that they have there in Tennessee with Coach Vrabel and, a run first offense with Derrick Henry, a lot of play action stuff. It's really similar to what Will did here at Kentucky. We were very much a run first offense here, did a lot of stuff off of play action. So he's going to feel really familiar and really settled into that type of system, I think. And I do think it's a great situation having a veteran like Ryan there that, can kind of show him the ropes, teach him how to, be a quarterback in the NFL. Okay, you know what it takes week in and week out to not only get your body ready to play every week, but getting your mind ready and preparing and doing all the prep work that you need to do that goes into, studying and stuff like that each week. So having a guy like Ryan will be a great benefit. And Will probably does need a season to, to learn the game and to sit behind a veteran and those kind of things. I think it's a perfect situation for him. And like you said, if the season's not going great, they can bring him in, or they can put him in certain situations throughout the season, throughout games, and get him some playing time. But I think he's in a great situation, and he's just got to go take advantage of it.
Talk a little bit and tell everybody a little bit what it's like to be a first pick. I mean, I know there's all the deal leading up to the draft. You go to the combine, got your individual workouts, but you went to an expansion franchise with the Cleveland Browns, weren't very good.
Right.
And everybody wants to be the number one pick as a quarterback. But when you're the number one pick, you're usually going to a team that's not very good. So, the Bryce Youngs and the CJ Strouds and the Anthony Richardsons are going to teams that are not very good. How does that affect you mentally? Because you're going to a team that just, they're missing some pieces. That's why they had that draft position. So I know it was tough on you. And then when I got there, we needed some pieces. We didn't have a very good offensive line. And then we got Verba, and then we got Tuck, and then we got all those, and we had some really good guys. We just needed to add some pieces. But just talk about the struggles of being the number one pick and going to a bad team.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Kel, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Obviously, you want to go as high as possible, but like you said, you're going to the worst team. And for me, I was going to a team that didn't even exist. We're an expansion team, so really just with that organization from the ground up and being the first player ever drafted in the new Browns franchise, and for me, I felt a lot of pressure to really live up to, you always kind of have that label as former number one draft pick, and people, you feel like you have to prove to people why you were number one, right? So, in my draft, it was Donovan McNabb went 2, Akili Smith, we had Dante Culpepper, Sean King. We had a bunch of really good, Cade McNown, had a bunch of really good players in that draft as far as quarterbacks go. And I kind of felt that pressure throughout my career of every time I took a snap, I had to prove to people why I was the number one pick. And that's a horrible way to think. But you do feel that pressure. You feel it from the media, you feel it from the fans. You're supposed to be kind of the person that's going to bring that franchise up and take them to the Super Bowl and do all that kind of stuff. And as a number one pick, man, you feel like if your career doesn't go like a Troy Aikman or a John Elway or a Peyton Manning or other former number one picks before you, like if you're not winning Super Bowls and going to multiple Pro Bowls, that you get labeled with that bust tag, right? And I also told Will when he fell to the second round, I said, listen, man, this is probably a good thing. You don't have to carry that pressure with you anymore of being that top 5 pick where they're going to label you as a potential bust if you don't make it. Not that being a second round pick isn't a very high draft pick. It's still a great slot to be drafted, but you don't carry that bust label with you anymore. So that pressure is off of Will as he goes to Tennessee. So it's a lot to deal with, a lot of pressure, and you definitely feel it as a top 5 pick. And, I'm happy for Will that he kind of ended up where he did. He doesn't have to deal with that situation.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because when we were going through our deals, when you got injured and then I came in and I did pretty good, and then we had that deal where that one year where I started and then you were behind me, and then we both felt like subconsciously we didn't think about it, but like Butch kind of used us against each other. I mean, if I didn't play well, I knew you were going to come in, and if you didn't play well, you knew I was going to come in. That's just no way for a quarterback to play, whether we thought it or not. That was a tough situation for both of us.
It was horrible. And, I remember going through that, and you and I were such good friends that we supported each other. And thankfully we were good friends, or that situation could have got really ugly really quick because the way, like you said, the way Butch was rotating us in and out of the lineup, I supported you and you supported me whenever we were in the lineup. You were my friend. I wanted to see you do great when you got in there. You did not want to be playing. Did I think I should be playing? Hell yeah. And so did you. We're both competitive people, man. But at the end of the day, we were friends, and I wanted to see you have success. You wanted to see me have success, and ultimately we were team players. We wanted the team to have success. But the way that Butch handled that situation, at the quarterback position, man, when you feel like you throw an interception and you're looking over your shoulder for the guy to come in off the sideline, you can't play like that, because the NFL, you're going to turn the football over. You're going to make mistakes. You gotta, be aggressive. You gotta try to push the ball down the field at times, and you got to throw the ball into tight windows and try to make plays, and things like that. And you feel like you can't do that when, if you feel like every little mistake you make, you're going to be on the bench. So that was an awful year. I know I didn't enjoy it. I'm sure you didn't enjoy it. It was just too much. And, it's just, I hated that it had to go down like that. He needed just, I think we got to the point, Kel, where it's like, pick a freaking guy and stay with him. At this point, I don't care if it's me or you, just put the guy in there and let him do his thing. And this is his football team, because if you don't have that, then it's tough on your teammates too, when you got a different guy in the huddle, each week and things like that. It just got really tough.
Talk to us a little bit about the quarterback position and how it's changing. I didn't have that game. You had more of that game than I did because you could run. Like I couldn't do that. But, like you get an Anthony Richardson, or you get CJ Stroud's not a big runner either. Will can do it some. Bryce Young, he tries to, buy some time in the pocket. But, we talked to Herm Edwards last week. We're going to talk to him later on today. But just talk to me how about the quarterback position is changing, because I think at some point you look at Lamar Jackson, and he got hurt last year. At some point, you got to learn how to stay in the pocket, and you got to learn how to be a pocket passer. Not many guys are like Lamar that can do the things he can do. I mean, Anthony Richardson, I don't know if we've seen a lot for him. He's like a tight end. He's huge. I'm sure that they're going to use him a little bit like they're using Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. But, for me, if I'm a coach, if I've got a quarterback like that and I put the offense around him and build it around him, I've got to have a guy behind him that can kind of do the same things that he can do. Right. And that's kind of the way it's changing. But ultimately, if you run around as a quarterback, you're going to get hurt. And Robert Griffin found that out. All these guys have found that stuff out. And I don't care how big you are. Lamar ran into it last year, but it seems like that's the way the NFL is going. But I think my personal opinion is some point you got to learn how to play the quarterback position from the pocket.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think, everyone is looking for that quarterback who can bring some versatility to the position and create plays with his legs, extend plays when nothing's there. We see a guy like Patrick Mahomes, when he's not a big time runner, but the guy can scramble for days back there, and you just can't cover his receivers for that long, and he ends up getting big plays down the field. So they're all looking for that guy who can extend the play. But, like you said, if you're just going to rely mostly on that running ability, they're going to eventually keep you in the pocket. Defensive coordinators are so good. I remember, when we were playing, it was Michael Vick and, guys like that they have to learn to play from the pocket, because they will eventually bottle you up, and they're going to force you to sit in there and go through reads and be accurate and throw the football in tight windows. And if you can't do that, eventually you get exposed, and your career doesn't last as long. And like you said, Kel, with the injuries, you run around in that league, those big dudes are going to hurt you. And I don't care how fast you are, it only takes one hit. They catch you one time and you're on the sideline. So, yeah, I totally agree. The running ability is great. It's a great, thing to have. It's a great thing to be able to extend plays, create with your legs. But at the end of the day, you got to play quarterback. You got to sit in the pocket, you got to make reads, and you got to throw the football down the field. And that's really what keeps your career going. That's what keeps the offense clicking. That's what you can rely on week in and week out. Is if you can sit in the pocket and make throws, then you can have a good, consistent passing game at that level.
Yeah, and I know George probably want to ask you some questions. We could talk all day, but I am going to ask you this. Talking about the Brownies, what do you think about Deshaun Watson? What do you think about that situation? What do you think about what he brings to the table? I had to set out a lot last year. Kevin Stefanski, which was he wasn't even like when I went to Minnesota, he was in the personnel department. He wasn't even in the coaching, realm of things. And now he's the head coach for the Cleveland Browns. But, we all want the Cleveland Browns to do well. But what do you think about Deshaun Watson and what he brings to the table?
Well, I think Deshaun's obviously a really talented guy. We've seen him put up some huge numbers in Houston and, do some great things. But, it's a tough situation coming to a new team with that kind of money. They guaranteed the guy, $230 million, fully guaranteed. It's really hard to live up to that. It's really hard to understand why they would give him such a contract, especially with all the, the off the field stuff that he had going on as well. But I think it's just a matter of putting the pieces around Deshaun and getting him back to playing football. He pretty much missed 2 seasons of playing. The Browns have some talent on offense. I think they have one of the better offensive lines in the league. I think they have probably, if not the best running back in the league in Nick Chubb. He's a top 2 or 3 type of guy. They're starting to add some pieces at wide receiver. They've got a good tight end and David Njoku. So the pieces are there for Deshaun to have success. It's just a matter of him and Stefanski getting on that same page and kind of building that offense around Deshaun. Deshaun can do some different things. I think he's really, really good off of play action. I think he creates a lot of big plays down the field with his ability to throw the deep ball. So they're going to have to get some receivers and those kind of things in to match what Deshaun can do and kind of build it around him. But, the potential is there for sure. But, we've seen a lot of really good quarterbacks go through Cleveland and not live up to their potential. It's kind of been the tradition there for the last 20-some years. So we'll see how it works out. I hope it works out well for him. Obviously, I'm still a Browns fan. I pull for him every Sunday. So I hope it works out for him.
Tim, is Levis's turf toe still an issue?
Not that I know of. When I've talked to him about it, he said it's no longer an issue. I know some teams think that he needs to get surgery on it. I think he does not feel like he needs to get surgery on it. But, he did. It was a problem all last year. The year before, Will made a lot of plays with his legs. He had a lot of rushing touchdowns the year before. We won 10 games, I think it was that year. And then, this year was a new offensive coordinator and the fact that Will couldn't run at all. So, half of his game was not there, not available for him week in and week out. So it was tough to see him play like that, but he's such a tough guy. He plays through the injuries. And I love seeing that as a quarterback. And, a guy like that who's, was projected to be a first-round pick and he's banged up. He could have easily said, I'm going to sit this out. I'm going to get my body healthy and get ready for the draft and the next level. But he was out there every week fighting with his guys. And I love that type of mentality. It's old school mentality. And the way, Kelly and I think we played the game that way as well. But, I don't think it's going to be an issue for him. He seems to feel really confident about it, that he's going to be fine. He's going to be healthy. So we'll see how it plays out in training camp for him.
For a school that is a basketball school, when you signed at Kentucky, my God, the hype was insane. It was like Rex Chapman signing with Kentucky. Did he face the same kind of hype you did?
No, I don't think so. When he transferred from Penn State, it was we didn't really know a whole lot about him other than he was a talented guy with a big arm, but he was used more of a runner at Penn State. He was almost like an extra running back on the field for them. And I guess it was Sean Clifford, was their quarterback there. at the time, that was their number one guy. So Will, when he got here, everyone thought, well, maybe he's a talented guy. We'll see what he can do. He's played at Penn State, played in a big time conference. So, hopefully he can get acclimated really quickly. But, the thing that Will did is he kind of came in and made this program his. He took ownership of this program immediately, and guys really responded to him. And he became the instant leader of this football team and was a starter almost the second he stepped foot on campus. And, he has that type of, that's what great quarterbacks do, is they walk into a room and guys believe in them, or they don't. You have to have that, and it's hard to explain. You either have it or you don't. When you walk into the huddle and you call the play, and guys either can believe you can get it done, or they kind of look at you like, we're not sure about you. And I think Will has that ability to rally guys, and he has a really good energy about it. He brings a lot to the table. So yeah, he got here, and I think once he had been here for a couple months, and people had kind of heard the rumors coming out of camp, the way he was throwing the football and the arm strength and all that stuff, then the excitement and the hype started to build for him. And he came out in that first year and won 10 games in the SEC, which was really impressive and really rare for a Kentucky football team to win that many games.
Okay, really good interview. Kelly did a great job with his former teammate on that interview, and I hope you enjoyed it. After the break, we're going to talk about some of the things that he brought up, and we're going to talk about one thing that he didn't say on camera, but told us off the air that will have you going, wow. Get ready. Now, let's talk about the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, August the 4th through the 6th. I will tell you up front, I have not been to the event yet since it's come here, but I also know friends of mine who I trust, who maybe had no dog in the hunt going in, have come away saying, this is one of the coolest things I've ever been to. So when Liz invited me this year, when Liz Allison said, come on and join us, I was all in, because I am really, really interested to see what all the talk and all the hype has been about. Here are a couple of things I know. Number one, they move fast. Duh. Number two, there's a lot of music. In this 3-day period, they have set up some incredible musical acts. Tickets are now available, and I want to give you some of the options. I'm reading straight out of what's been given to me. Of course, general admission, reserved grandstand. New for 2023 will be the Turn 9 Club, which is located in the most action-packed turn on the track. The East Club, and the most premium, which is Club RPM. So tickets are now available. You can get them online, Music City GP. Let's try that again, MusicCityGP.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at bairdifference.com.
So back when Tim Couch was coming out of high school, he was heavily recruited. My God, the pressure on that young guy to go to Kentucky was intense. And, you know, when he made the decision to go there, and then all of a sudden they hire Hal Mummy, and, you know, I'm talking to C.M. Newton a lot at that time. He's the athletic director at Kentucky. And they're trying to turn Kentucky football into something a lot more fun. Because growing up, Kentucky and Vandy were sort of dead even as far as where are they on the football food chain. And in the SEC, they were the bottom. It would be Kentucky some years, it'd be Vandy other years. So after we got through with the interview, Kelly, he kind of unloaded on us a piece of news I had never heard. And that is, he came close to signing with Tennessee. And think about the time we're talking about. Peyton Manning, followed by Tim Couch. Ooh. Hello.
Yeah, he. I can remember. You know, we talk about things when we were in meetings, and before we get into position meetings, there's times where, you know, we'll take 5-10 minutes and just shoot the breeze. And he was a huge UT fan. I mean, he was really close in Leslie County, Kentucky. He's on the, you know, the southeastern part of the state of Kentucky, and he was close to. I think he said he was closer to Knoxville than he was Lexington. So he grew up a UT fan. He wanted to be a UT football player. He loved UT football, and he liked Kentucky basketball. So he always told us, I wanted to go to UT, and, you know, he told us yesterday, which he went into it further yesterday. He was in there with Phil Fulmer and David Cutcliffe, and his dad got upset and walked out of the room, and, you know, they kind of came to some conclusion that he would end up going to Kentucky, but if it didn't work out, that he was transferring to UT. And it obviously worked out for him at Kentucky, because he was there right at the perfect time with Hal Mummy and Mike Leach and Chris Hatcher, all those guys getting an offense going that nobody had really seen yet. They did it in Valdosta, and then they took it to the SEC, and it worked in the SEC. And Tim, he did a lot of good things at Kentucky. He got them on the map for sure.
Kelly, the story of how Hal Mummy came to be at Kentucky is insane.
Yeah.
A former Vanderbilt wide receiver, and a really good one, named Carl Parker, picks up the phone one day after Bill Curry announces he's resigning. He calls C.M. Newton and says, before you do anything, you got to get on a plane and come to Valdosta, Georgia, and watch this guy, Hal Mummy. Well, like the rest of the world, CM didn't know who Hal Mummy was from Adam.
Right.
He goes down there for, I guess, a game and is just blown away by what he sees. And he's got these visions of, you know, a wide open offense at Kentucky, Commonwealth Stadium, you know, suddenly going from, you know, a funeral home to something really cool. And he hires Hal Mummy. 2 days after he hired Hal Mummy, being the brilliant sports talk show host that I am, I called him and I said, "Are you out of your flipping mind?" And Coach Newton, as was always the case, this is what I loved about him. He never fired back at me in sort of a, "Who do you think you are calling me?"
Yeah.
He would then he would file it away and then use it against you later. Well, as you know, in Couch's first year, Mummy's there. It's going crazy. They're going for it on 4th and 18.
Yeah.
They beat Alabama for the first time since probably Millard Fillmore, you know, that. And so when we go up, I've been named Vandy's announcer at that point, and we go up later that year to play basketball, and Coach Newton just roasted me about my belief. I mean, he did everything but bring Hal Mummy in the room.
Yeah.
You know, and he just said, "You're a moron." You
well,
know,
it was obviously the right time. Everything's about timing in sports. We've talked about that before. Professional sports, college sports. Couch said, you know, when we were talking to him yesterday, that after his first practice, he had run the triple option all day and did not throw a ball. And he's like, "This is not going to work out, Dad. I'm about ready to go." But fortunately for him, it did work out because Hal Mummy came in and he was able to kind of do what he did, got himself on the map, became a first-round draft pick for the expansion Cleveland Browns. So it worked out for him, and those guys came together at the most opportune time for all of them.
Tim's dad was a lifetime UK fan.
Right.
Obviously grew up listening to the legendary Kaywood Ledford on radio.
Yeah.
And I can see what would have gone on in that room. Kelly, here's the one thing that you have really impressed upon everybody who has watched you since you've been on here. And you got into this with Tim, that an NFL quarterback who is going to do a lot of running is going to be dead meat before it's over.
You look at it, Lamar Jackson is an unbelievably talented guy. He did it in college. He did it at Louisville. He won the Heisman Trophy. There's not many guys like him. Now, there's more coming out that are – I don't know if they're that athletic as he is. Anthony Richardson, we'll still have to see. Bryce Young is a guy – he reminds me kind of Russell some of the guys that
you think he's got a little Russell Wilson in his
heyday? Yeah, a little Russell Wilson,
Seattle.
because Russell is the guy that he's not looking to run, but he will run when he's given the when he's given the opportune time to run. But he's always trying to throw the ball first. That's what Bryce Young does. These guys that are coming up now, Robert Griffin, he fell into it. Lamar Jackson fell into it last year. At some point, we're not like running backs. We're not built like running backs. Quarterbacks are not built like running backs. Now, Anthony Richardson built like a tight end. He's different. He can run over guys. I just don't know, though, if you can do that. At some point, you have to learn how to play the quarterback position from the pocket. You have to learn how to read the defense, because your legs, and it's going to be interesting to see. Lamar just got all the money that he wanted, but it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back after that knee injury, because nobody's the same cat as they were before they got injured.
Yeah.
When they come back, you're going to have a little scar tissue in there. I'm sure he's going to be able to do all the things he's been, but can he do it like he did before he got injured? That's going to be something that's, we haven't seen. And, Jalen Hurts took his team to the Super Bowl last year. The guy really played well, but he went into the offseason and he learned how to throw the football from the pocket. He used to aggravate me, and I've said it over and over on this podcast. he used to aggravate me so bad when he was in Alabama because he would take off running. He ran to the right. He would throw the ball away. Well, like, learn the game. Learn how to read a defense. Learn being on time. That's what is different in the National Football League than in high school football and college football. The openings that you have to throw in are very minute, and you have to throw that stuff on timing. You have to learn how to do that. I just don't think that they're trying to bring these athletic guys in, George, but over time, it's going to blow up in guys' face because you're going to turn out to be like Robert Griffin, where you're just not going to have a career because you try to run too much.
Leave me with this on Tim Couch, because I know how good he was in college. Mm-hmm. If he had been drafted by a playoff caliber team, how different would his career story have been?
I don't know if you can answer that question, George. I just remember going to the basketball court with Tim, and I was thinking, man, this dude's pretty good. He's athletic. He was big. He was a big guy. Like, when I went to college, I didn't have
sort of a tight end build.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't have his physique. I was 157 pounds when I met the middle. That's why I didn't go anywhere bigger. I was supposed to go on a trip to Alabama the next week, and they loved me. And I met a coach out in San Francisco who was a 49ers receiver coach and told me, hey, we were going to offer you a scholarship if you came. And it just wasn't me. Tim was that guy where he was put up on that pedestal. He was really he had the physique to do it. He had the ability to do it. He could run. He could throw on, he could throw on the move. He could throw the ball some. He had to tinker with that a little bit in the NFL, but I don't know, George. We never really know. And it all comes down to timing. The timing wasn't great for him going to the expansion Browns. I would have liked to have seen him go somewhere else too, but that just wasn't in the cards for him. He was drafted number 1 overall. He went to an expansion franchise. We weren't very good. We got good in the offensive line, and then for some reason they tore that thing apart. But it's just hard to say what somebody else could have been in another situation.
Okay, after the break, yes, we're going to do stat of the day, and we'll probably bomb on that.
Ugh.
But afterwards, it'll be time, and the public is clamoring for another edition of Kelly Holcomb's World of Football. However, today, Kelly, I'm going to interject my own thoughts back at you.
Oh, nice.
In Kelly's World of Football.
Let's banter a little bit. I like it.
We're going to banter. Nice. And you know what? Billy will be back there, and if he's smart, he'll say, that's really good stuff. Right?
He will, because you're writing his checks.
Good point. Stay tuned. We're coming back.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
This is my buddy and former Nashville Sounds PA announcer Eric Berner. I always laughed in the old days at Greer Stadium when I would walk in, Eric would immediately play my favorite song, Van Halen's Jump. But then I learned he actually has a real job with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors.
Yeah, George, that's what I do. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. Everybody's situation is different, so I use a customized and individualized, personalized approach to the person I'm working with. Old 401ks, retirement planning, insurance planning, inheritance planning. Those are things that people like to get some more information about.
One of the things I find is people don't even know where to start, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I can usually help people with an initial phone call or meeting that is a no charge and no obligation.
And I'll bet you have a phone number and a website.
I do, George. They can call me at 615-235-1058 or rockcastlewealth.com or eric@rockcastlewealth.com.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication, and we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700. Send us a message at celestemiddleton.com or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Welcome to John English Antique Sports and Cards, located at 204 East Depot Street in beautiful downtown Shelbyville, Tennessee. Their phone number is area code 931-492-4304. John, obviously, I've been blown away by what I've seen at your place. I've now been there 3 times. But for the person who's never been, what should they expect?
Well, we have a 3,000 square foot store, George. Half of it is vintage cards in all sports. And then half of the store is, a lot of people call it the museum, where there's a lot of early equipment and just the history of sports in general. Baseball, football, basketball, golf, tennis, and other items.
When somebody comes in there that you know is a big sports fan, what is their normal reaction?
Well, I think that they're pleasantly surprised. And, of course, being in Shelbyville, Tennessee, which is a small town that you would never expect a shop like we have to be in. So they're kind of, I don't want to say blown away, but as I said, pleasantly surprised.
Welcome back in. It is time for Stat of the Day, presented to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards, located in Shelbyville, Tennessee. You can find them at 204 East Depot Street. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So go give them a visit or give them a call at 931-492-4304. So we got for Stat of the Day today, we're going to the association. Nikola Jokic is the second player in NBA history with 300 points, 100 rebounds, and 75 assists through his first 10 first 10 games of a postseason, rather. Can you name the only other player to accomplish this feat? 300 points, 100 rebounds, and 75 assists through the first 10 games of a postseason.
Did we have the answer? Was the same answer the other day? No,
it is not. It is a new answer.
We wouldn't do back-to-back answers.
Okay, Kelly, the first name that comes to my mind is Magic Johnson. If you remember, as a rookie, he had a 42-point game the night the Lakers clinched against Philadelphia. So that would be basically 30, 10, 7.5. He was dishing out a lot of assists. You know, I know they're over here going, that isn't it. But you know what? I like that one.
I do too. That's probably the best. That's probably the best answer I could come up with too. I don't, would Oscar Robertson be in there? I don't know.
The 7.5 assist part could be Larry Bird, but I think it's Magic. Let's go with Magic. Yeah, same to you, pal.
Same to you.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Kelly, you going to go with your guess?
What you got, Kelly?
Bird was a good one. I
bunch of
don't know. I mean, I don't.
Well, he said the one you said.
The silence is deafening.
Oscar Robertson.
Oh,
Nice.
attaboy, Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, baby.
Off the schneid.
This is not your first rodeo.
No, not at all. How
He
about
was
that?
kicking himself because the other day he said it but didn't go with it.
Yeah.
I know.
So
You got to go with your first thought.
Kelly's on a roll lately.
Was magic in there anywhere?
I just saw the answer. I didn't see the list.
Okay, so
I like
that's
the one answer deals, David. I like those though. Thank you.
so here's the story. Kelly right now is on a high. Okay, it's not going to get much better for him, but could get considerably worse, like in the next 2 to 4 minutes. Thus, we bring you, with his own open, Kelly Holcomb's World of Football. It's a moment you have breathlessly awaited. It's time for Kelly Holcomb's World of Football. As shocking as this may sound, Kelly Holcomb's World of Football has sponsors. It's brought to you in part by Baird Financial with Yaz Hassan and Justin Oldham, and by State Farm Insurance, located in Murfreesboro, through agent Celeste Middleton. So I am going to lead Kelly down the primrose path here. Okay. Let's put the graphic up there of what the NFL has announced. Okay. And what they've announced is a series of these games internationally. And as Billy, that is your name, isn't it? As Billy.
That's actually David's graphic.
Really?
Yeah.
Very nice. Got the blue for the Titans.
Mhm.
Very nice. So they've announced 5 games that are international games. And Roger Goodell keeps throwing out there this, we could we could eventually have a team and such and such. I am calling BS. There isn't going to be a team in London. There isn't going to be a team in Frankfurt. There isn't going to be a team anywhere other than maybe Mexico City. And you know why, Kelly?
Tell me.
Because they haven't found an airplane that'll get you there in an hour.
That's a good point. I'm like you. I can't. Can you imagine the cost that they would have to have a team in Europe at some place like in Germany or England? It's just the cost would be astronomical to have an organization to go back and forth to run a team over there. The gas that they have to pay on for the air, it's just it's overwhelming to me. I'm like you. I just can't see that happening.
Why does the league keep perpetuating this fraud?
I don't know. They're trying to get it out there internationally, but we're already out there internationally. Everybody watches it around the world. I don't know why they pick up and go to London. And I've played, I was looking at these stadiums. I played in Wembley Stadium. I played the London Monarchs in the old World League of American Football. And do you know who was on the London Monarchs team?
Pele.
William the Refrigerator Perry.
Really?
Yeah, and it was coming a downpour. I mean, puddles were in the middle of the field. I could not get a snap. I kept fumbling the snap, and then I had to look over at Refrigerator Perry. He was over there on a marketing deal to try to get some enthusiasm for the league. He came out for a couple of plays. He still was a big human being. But that was one of the worst games I've ever been associated with because of the rain. It was like there was puddles. I literally couldn't get a snap, and we didn't do much shotgun. That was
you look over and you see Refrigerator Perry.
I just couldn't get a snap. It was awful. And then we played in Frankfurt. Now, I will say this about Frankfurt. Frankfurt has a huge base over there, an Army base.
Yeah.
And they really got into those games. They were out tailgating. before the games. They have a lot of Americans over there, and that was a really cool place to play a game. Wembley Stadium, not so much, but I'm like you, George. I don't understand why they're perpetuating this. I don't get it. We're already on TV's the big thing, and people in other countries watch football. So I don't necessarily understand why they're so adamant about going to Europe and playing games. And I can never see, they may do it, I don't know, but I can never see a team being their destination, being the London whatever or the Frankfurt whatever. I can't see that happening.
Now, let me make clear. I'm sure it's very cool to make one trip over there. I've never been to Wembley Stadium. I've never been to Frankfurt Stadium. I'm not questioning whether it's cool or not. But Kelly, my gut feeling is the players hate these deals because it gets their schedule out of whack. There's just all kinds of issues that you deal with. And I want you to tell people a little bit of some of the issues you deal with if you're the Titans and you're stuck going over there.
Guys hate it. I hated my whole deal was most guys want to play Sunday at 1:00. When it's here, it's noon. Guys don't like, and maybe it's different. I was just, when you have to sit in a hotel all day for a Monday night game or a Thursday night game when you're the only night, and you love being the only game in town at that time of day. But when you have to sit around a hotel all day, then they try to have meetings during the middle of the day, and then you get your pregame meal and all that, and all these games are going on. It was just such a hassle. All guys want to play at 1:00. They want to be done with it. They want to get up. They want to go to they want to go get their meal. They want to get on the bus. They want to get to the stadium. They want to go play a game. I can't imagine having to travel. You've got to pack. And then you see Jacksonville, they're playing on consecutive weekends. I think they're playing October 1st and then again October 8th. So just think about all the logistics that you have to go through. Plus you have to pack. You have to pack extra. So I would just think it's a hassle, George. I didn't like it. I was adamant about playing on 1:00. I always loved 1:00 Sunday games because that's what everybody, you get up, you get it over with, you get to play. You don't have to sit around all day. You don't have to think about the Sunday night game or the Monday night game or the Thursday night game. It's just a hassle. And I can't imagine because we did go to Mexico City. When I was with Indianapolis, we played, I think it was the Saints. No, excuse me, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they have so many Pittsburgh Steelers fans down there. It's crazy. But we did go down there, and that was kind of a hassle too because they told us, hey, the revenge of Montezuma, don't drink the water. You can't drink the water. Nobody drinks the water. So they had all these, they brought water with us. So we couldn't drink the water. You were just scared to death. And it's kind of a hassle. It's fun to do one time maybe, but I didn't like it. And I don't think guys that are playing in it like it.
Okay. Here are a couple of suspicions. Why is the league doing this? First of all, under Roger Goodell, this has become the most money grubby league in the history of money grubby.
Yep.
You look around, you've got Monday night, you got Sunday night, you got Thursday night,
Black Friday,
you've got all these different announcements of games.
Yep.
And for this game, you got to buy ESPN Plus, and for the next one, you got to buy Mizzlou, and you got it is becoming absurd what's going on. And part of the reason that they're getting away with it, Kelly, is because the players union isn't strong enough in the NFL to say, knock it off, enough.
Well, I think that's because of the money situation, George. You can't bite the hand that feeds you, and that's exactly what's going on. I mean, sometimes they present a good fight where we're going to fight and we're going to do all this, but when it really boils down to it, when you start chipping into guys' pockets, that's not going to happen. So the NFL knows that they got the players. The players just want to get paid. That's what everybody wants to do. Right. They want to get paid, and at some point, they're not going to stand up against what's going on because they like what's they like where everything's going with the NFL because everybody's making money, and the NFL is the game to watch. It's used to be the baseball was the country's pastime, but now it's the NFL, and it drives sports. When you look at college football drives the athletic department in every school. So it's that's just the way that football has become what it's become, and they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them, George.
Now, to Goodell's credit, the guy is making like $42 million a year.
Yeah, he's making a bunch
playing this game. So we should at least say, he's not stupid.
He's
he
smart.
knows where the bread is buttered. Billy, why are you and David laughing at Kelly and I?
Oh, we weren't laughing at y'all. We were just laughing at something else that I showed on my laptop.
Mm-hmm. Kelly, do you think that's okay for the show?
I don't know. They're obviously in a lull time right now. They're just listening to me and you banter back and forth. So they're just trying to pass the time, obviously.
Okay, so let me ask these two. Do you all think there will ever be football? What are you pointing at?
George, stay. You don't need to keep getting distracted. You're so easily distracted right now.
Well, I probably have good reason. Do either one of you think that there will ever be an NFL football team in London?
No, I can't see it. I can't see it happening. I mean, I can't even see Mexico City happen. I mean, a team in Mexico City? I guess that's the furthest.
Was that any farther than going to LA?
No, but I don't know. I don't know if I can see it anywhere other than United States of America. I mean,
I tell you what, Mexico City is a huge place. If you've ever been, have you ever been, George?
Yes.
It's a big place, and there's a bunch of Volkswagen Bugs down there. Now, I don't know if they still have those, but when we went, that's all that people drove.
Wow.
Now, that was a long, long time ago. A long, long time ago.
They've got a sponsor down there if they want one, I guess.
Well, I guess really my whole point is the players. I get the fact the NFL wants to do a little bit of this. To me, 1 game, 2 games, but this 5-game thing is a bunch of crap.
The Jags having to go back to back, like you said there, Kelly, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but let me tell you where the Jags part of this comes in. Before the drafting of a certain Trevor Lawrence, the Jags had the tarps all over the upper deck.
That's
they
right.
couldn't sell any tickets. And so the Jags were a willing participant in this little hoax of we're moving to Germany, we're moving to London. The Jags were like, sign us up. We can't sell any tickets.
All of a sudden, they're a playoff team.
Yeah, but that's what this was all about.
No, George is absolutely right, because everybody kept saying that if there's a team going to go, it's going to be Jacksonville. So I'm sure that's why they're throwing them out there. But I just can't imagine having to go over there for 2 weeks. I guess guys will carry their family. I don't know if they'll carry their families or not, but that's just you have to pack extra. The logistics for the team, the team managers, the equipment managers have to pack all that stuff. They got to get all that stuff ready. It's just, I can't imagine the nightmare that they got to go through to do all that.
So mark this one down, okay? Kelly Holcomb's World of Football. I sort of sabotaged it, decided to interject my own stuff with Kelly's expertise. And for the record, Kelly Holcomb agreed with me.
I did.
I
agree. Now, I will say this, George. I wouldn't be surprised. They've got 5 games coming up next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they start lengthening that out. I don't get the infatuation with going to Europe myself. I don't understand it, but I could see them, expanding that out in years to come.
Oh, God.
I don't know why, but I could see it.
I have a question for you, George. Just as a season ticket holder, are you upset? The Ravens are a marquee matchup for the Titans. That's a rivalry game from past playoffs. Those teams do not like each other. The Harbaugh, Vrabel, they don't like each other as well. Are you kind of upset? That would have been a Titans home game here in Nashville. Is that something that as a ticket holder you had wanted to see here in Nashville instead of it going over the pond?
Yeah. Look, if you're asking me what I really think is going to happen with this football team this year, help me. I don't see the path where anything particularly good is coming. Now, maybe I'm being negative.
You sound like the grumpy old man telling us to get off your lawn.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be the grumpy. Is that how I sound, Kelly?
A little bit. Yes, a little bit.
Okay. To me, the only way next year brings a ton of pleasure to a Titans fan is if the division completely sucks.
And
that's it. And it might.
It could with all these young quarterbacks. I mean, it could, and then never know what Trevor Lawrence can they back. Can they do what they did last year again? That's what everybody wants to know. So I don't know if Ryan Tannehill stays injury free and he can get those guys to playing better. Who knows?
Do I have a ton of confidence in where this season is going at this moment? No, I don't. Now, in fairness, I don't think they could address every last need they had. But to leave them in the position that they have left them at the wide receiver slot, I don't get it.
Yeah, Titans fans deserve answers, and they deserve better than that. The rest of the team deserves better than the receiving core they have right now.
Yeah, I was just looking at their schedule on their home games specifically. There's some interesting matchups that I would have liked to see, that Baltimore one being one of them here in Nashville. They play Seattle here, a playoff team.
So it's the Titans' home game.
Yeah, it is the Titans. So you're losing that home game. So you're losing that revenue and all of that for Nissan Stadium. But, the Falcons are coming to play here. I'd rather see the Ravens here than the Falcons. That's just my opinion.
Different form of bird.
Yep, fair enough. But,
thank you.
Baltimore is going to want to be a playoff team, whereas Atlanta's kind of in a rebuild in that NFC South. So,
I'm a little surprised they made Baltimore Titans out there in London. Usually it's a team like Jacksonville or Atlanta.
Well, Miami and Kansas City going across the pond. That would have been a great game at Kansas City.
Whose home game was that?
That was Kansas City's home game. So that would have been an Arrowhead, which would have been really nice.
Okay. Real quick here, George.
Yes, you have something.
Had a comment on YouTube from Robert. He said,
"Okay,
the VW Beetles are made in Mexico." I don't know if you knew that, Kelly, but
I did not know that. But dude, they're everywhere. I mean, there's every color everywhere. It was amazing. And now this was a long time ago. This was 25 years ago or something like that. Maybe even longer. So, but I just remember going down there and everybody was talking, "Don't drink the water," and I just could not imagine how big this place was, and the traffic is ridiculous, and all you saw was VW bugs, man. That was it.
Okay, stop there. Kelly's World of Football is now history. We're back with more in just a moment.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Scholar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. Now that the weather has gotten considerably warmer, there's not a better place to spend a morning or an afternoon than Riverside Golf Links. So you've probably noticed the weather has gotten a lot warmer, and that means a couple of things in Nashville. It means baseball, and it really means golf. And for me, it's a visit to Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. There are now 27 holes, including a 9-hole executive course. If you want tee times or more information, dial them up at 615-847-5074.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, Discover what Hit City has to offer. Single game tickets are on sale now.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication, and we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700. Send us a message at celestemiddleton.com or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Okay, this is what happens, Kelly, at times of the year where it's not football. A host will pose a question and then look for reaction.
Let's do it.
Who are the best athletes?
Oh, wow. Who are the best athletes?
In other words, let me try it this way. If you watch the four major sports, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, which of the four, when you watch them, do you think are the best athletes?
Well, I'm obviously loyal to football, but I really believe that basketball players are really, really athletic. I've thought about this before. I think golfers are more athletic than people think. You have to be athletic to be a golfer. Like, Gary Woodland was a huge basketball star in the state of Kansas. I think those guys don't get enough credit. But if you're asking me of the four major sports, I would probably say DBs are really athletic. They suck catching the football. Receivers are really athletic. Some running backs are athletic. Tight ends are athletic. But I think I think it would probably be NBA basketball guys.
Now, here's the part that we don't know, because it's easy for me to say, have I sat in what are the Jack Nicholson kind of seats at an NBA game?
Right.
And the answer is one time I did. And that one time, man, did it open my eyes. But I'll also say this, Kelly, these hockey guys, man, there is some skill at what they're doing. That's not a tennis ball that they're playing with.
No, and I marvel at what they do, George. We've talked about it. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I marvel at what they do because they're playing football on ice is what they're doing. And guys get mauled in the corner. Those guys can skate circles around the average person. They skate backwards. That's the reason that they can't go very long, because they're exerting so much energy in such a short period of time. What they do is really impressive. Those goalies are really impressive too, because those guys have got to be flexible. They've got to have good hand-eye coordination. They've got to be able to see things. It's hockey is really a sport that you need to look at and think those guys are really good at what they do.
And yet, Ted Williams was the one, I think, who said the single toughest thing to do athletically is to hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you.
Yes. I don't know if there's anything harder to do when you've got a guy like a Greg Maddux, not overpowering with his fastball, but his fastball moves. He's got a slider. He's got a curve. He's got a changeup. You've got to be able to see that coming out of his hand. And when you got a guy like a Aroldis Chapman throwing over 100 miles per hour, these guys throwing over 100, the reaction time has got to be so quick and they might be throwing a curveball. They might be throwing a change. It's amazing what those guys can do. And I'm with you. Hitting a baseball is one of the harder things to do. Now, hitting a golf ball, that's what's irritating to me. I love the game of golf, but every other sport, like the puck is moving, football, the ball is moving, basketball, the ball's bouncing, or you're shooting it. Baseball, the ball's moving. Golf, that ball is still. And for you to hit it straight where it's supposed to go with that little bitty iron is one of the harder things to do in life too, George. It's like I'm with you on baseball, but golf is really hard too.
Okay, let me ask a really stupid question here. So tonight, when LeBron gets fouled,
yeah,
he's not going to the foul line in Oakland or San Fran, wherever that arena is, and the PA announcer is going to go, quiet, please.
No, right.
Everyone be quiet. So help me with this. Why, I know that it's etiquette and it's the game of golf and, it's genteel and all that BS. But what do you think would happen if you allowed a gallery just to have some clown out there go, miss it, right as you go back into that, putting thing?
That would be outrage. Those guys, sometimes it is kind of irritating to me when they get so upset when somebody shouts something, or when they laugh, or when they're behind there and they're talking with each other and the guy pulls off. Like John Rahm did it a couple of weeks ago, and he stared at somebody like he could have killed them for what they did. And I'm like, guys, like, it's like Sergio. Sergio used to have so many ticks, like, hit the ball, dude, let's go. But I remember the first time, George, I was playing at Lincoln County High School, and I can remember the first time I ever felt pressure. I don't know where it came from. I was at the free throw line, and I had just made one, and the game wasn't even on the line. I think we were in the middle of the game. And then I'm thinking to myself, because we were at our home gym, and I'm thinking to myself, the referee tossed the ball back to me, and I'm like, golly, dude. It was the first time ever in my life that I started to feel things around me, and I'm like, I can't believe this. What's going on? I think I missed the free throw too. It was one of those times where you've got to get in those situations to experience those situations. That's what's cool. A lot of times when you hear Nick Faldo and those guys, now Trevor Immelman, talk about, you've got to be in certain situations to understand how to react in those situations. Like, you've got to be the 54-hole leader one time going into a major championship for 72 holes. How do you feel? How are you going to react when you get up on the first tee? Are you just going to choke it up, or are you going to be able to play through it? And those situations are pretty cool to live through.
Yeah. So here's another one that came up, because I never mentioned auto racing.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation come up, and Billy just rolled his eyes. Billy, I got news for you. You get in one of those cars and go 200 miles an hour, there better be some athletic ability, or you're a dead man.
There's some competitiveness, but I don't know if I would would you call that athleticism?
Oh, here we go.
You know how I feel about NASCAR.
Willie opened this can of worms years ago. Do not go there.
Why?
He got roasted because he sort of went the same place you did.
It's a totally different sport.
Sure, it's different. It's the only one where you could die. You ever thought of that?
I get that, and they are very skilled, but I just don't know if I'd call it an athletic skill. Like,
no, there's some skill and reactionary things that go into that. The factors of, during the summer, you're in a race car. It's not blasting air conditioning in there. It's over 150 degrees in there. You're driving that car for 4 hours. The Coke 600 miles, 5-hour race. You're going 180 miles per hour down the straightaway, 160 in the turn. It's conditioning, but it's not easy. That's for sure. It's not a Sunday drive.
Kelly, what do you think?
Kelly,
in your car.
I think you have to have something about you. I think you have to have a little bit of something in you I know when I lived in Indianapolis, the Speedway was literally 2 miles from my house. So I got to hear the cars, and then I met an elderly man that kind of became me and my wife's surrogate father and his wife, and he used to take me to the Speedway all the time, and we went to the races. I went to 6 Indy 500s, and I absolutely love that sport. If I would have grown up in Indianapolis, I guarantee you I would have tried to get in a car, because to watch those guys go around that track at over 200 miles per hour and to make a left turn on wheels that have no tread on them, that's scary. I remember I went the one year, Ari Lyondike. He had qualified it was a ridiculous amount of speed, and he got up to 230 at one point. And he was just lapping the field, and he got overconfident, and he started lapping the last cars in the field, and then he got himself messed up and he crashed. He would have won it hands down, but I can remember him getting out of the car talking about, that's too fast. We're on a cusp of being too fast right there. Because I think he got up to like 236 one time. So you've got to have a little bit of athleticism. You got to have a little bit of something, and you have to have a lot of courage too, because that auto racing, man, I love it. I've never really got into NASCAR, but the open wheel stuff, and when you're talking about the IndyCar series and all that stuff where they turn left all the time, and you going 200 miles per hour and having to pass folks, there's nothing like it in the world.
What about boxing?
I'm sure those guys are athletic too. You have to have something in you to do all this stuff. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
UFC, those guys are pretty special too. I watched the UFC deal the other night. I'm more of a boxing fan than I am a UFC fan. When I saw somebody was bending his arm, and the guy's arm was going backwards, he was double jointed, and I'm like, I'm out on that. And the dude wouldn't quit. And then the next time he got him down, he actually broke the dude's arm, and I'm like, I cannot watch that. I'm more of a boxing fan. My wife is a big boxing fan. She was a big Roy Jones Jr. fan. We got to go to a Roy Jones Jr. Fight up in Indianapolis when they came up there. And I don't know if y'all have ever been to a boxing match, but if you can see how people dress for boxing matches,
it's unbelievable.
Something to see. It's unbelievable.
So I went to the Mike Tyson Lennox Lewis fight at the Pyramid in Memphis, and I want to say that would have been 2001.
Yeah.
Tyson, by the way, has yet to hit Lennox Lewis. So I had on the Boy Scout outfit, the red polo and the khaki shorts.
Oh.
And let's just say that I was outnumbered as far as how people were dressed. Oh my God.
Billy, have you and David ever gone to a fight? Because it's unbelievable. Like, guys come out in 3-piece suits with a top hat and a cane, and like they'll be yellow, orange, purple. It's crazy.
It's like a Raiders game. It's like Raiders fans kind of.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like you forget about the game going on, and you're like, this is just a spectacle. This is just the people around you. That's what you're thinking of, as opposed to the actual game or the event.
This conversation will come up again this summer.
Yeah.
And Billy, when it does, do not go dumb on us and say that those guys in those cars are not athletes.
I'm not saying they're not athletes. I just don't think of, when you think of the greatest athletes in the world, I don't think of racing.
Kelly made a good point, though. Every sport requires some level of skill that translates, across all sports. Deion Sanders.
David, right there, you sounded so much smarter than
Deion
Billy.
Sanders is obviously one of the best athletes that we've ever seen play professional sports. And he came out and said, by far, for me, baseball was the hardest sport for him to play. Just the athleticism in the box to face a pitcher throwing 95 plus with a ball coming at you that's moving all over the place. So he said baseball was for him the hardest.
And he didn't do half bad as a Brave, in that 91 and 92 time when it was Otis Nixon leading off, who could fly, a former Nashville Sound, and then Deion batting second. We had some speed at the top of that order. Anyway, we'll get to this again before it's over. Billy, rethink where you're going with all that.
I will.
Yes. And we'll come back with Plaster Bet of the Day, where it appears I need to rethink some things. Stay tuned.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Welcome back in. It is time for Plaster's Bet of the Day, presented to you by Bart Durham Injury Law Firm. They are, simply put, the best in the business. They are lawyers you can trust. So give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. George, wasn't a good night last night.
Thank you, David.
Simply as that.
What's going on here, George?
Well, Billy, let me explain this to you. If I had you make 346 bets, I don't think your record would be as good as mine.
I'm just talking recently.
Recently, we've taken on water.
Kelly,
Okay.
at one point, George was 15 picks above 500, and it has gone.
It's gone
straight,
to hell.
straight down.
Was he really?
He was.
Yeah,
He was cooking with gas during the NCAA tournament.
The NHL, with all the road teams winning, has been very hard. That said, we're going to get 2 wins tonight.
Oh, is that a guarantee?
No, it is not.
There we go.
But I mean, you got to go with me. I'm due. This one is maybe me going a little bit with my heart and not my head. The Knicks. There is nothing better about NBA playoff basketball than May playoff basketball at the Garden. Even tonight, in a deal where nobody thinks the Knicks are winning that series, when that guy hits that defense chant on that organ, that place is louder than any building in the country. I love it. I want the Knicks to win just simply so I can hear that again. I don't know what's going on with the Knicks. They don't appear to me to want this as bad as Miami does. Nobody has stepped up the way Jimmy Butler has. If there's going to be a night that they're going to do it, better be tonight. I'm going with the Knicks at the Garden. Kelly?
I don't know. You may be right. I just don't think the Knicks are as good as Miami. I don't know if it's them playing down to them. The Brunson kid's really good. Randall, I mean, he's so-so.
Randall should be better than this.
Yes, I just don't think they're as good as Miami. I really don't. I think Miami's outplayed them, and they could go back and get a spark tonight at the Garden, and the Oregon guy could give them some juice. But I just don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one, George. I thought the ones that you picked last night, I thought you were going to win all three of them. I really did.
That's the beauty. Billy sits here and, sits behind that screen and just quietly, takes a bunch of shots. But I'll bet you last night he said George is going to win those.
Billy reminds me a lot of Willie on underdog picks. He sits there and makes fun of your underdog picks, but he never jumps in the arena. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean jumps in the arena?
He never he doesn't pick.
We never get a strong opinion.
George is banking on the Oregon guy tonight to help the Knicks pull
I'm
through.
with you tonight. I think the Knicks are going to
really
win. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Don't put the next one up there yet.
Okay.
Because I've got a little bit of commentary.
He's got a soliloquy.
What would it take for Vegas to respect the Florida Panthers? They just got through beating a hockey team that won 65 games in the regular season. Now they have taken Toronto to the cleaners and won 3 in a row against Toronto. They're up 3-0. Why are they the underdog tonight? Put it up there.
They're the underdog?
They are the underdog at home to Toronto. What has Toronto done to deserve to be favored? Screw Toronto. We're going with Florida.
That's a good question. I don't know other than home ice advantage. I don't know.
Toronto's going to come back and win the series.
Now, now this will be one where we say, Vegas knew something. But you know what? I don't know. I'm starting to believe that Florida is the Predators of 2017, and that there's just something magical about them right now.
You run into this group, you don't want to play them. A team like this that's this hot, and I mean, Toronto's not a bad team either. I mean, I
think it's just so hard to sweep teams too. Maybe that's what the Vegas folks are thinking. Like,
could be.
Maybe it's just so hard to sweep. At least they're going to get one game, so maybe they're thinking that's this game.
So this game is in Florida. We're taking the Panthers to get the sweep, and we are taking the Knicks at the Garden.
The BB&T Center. It's actually a nice arena. I've been down there for a game.
To
Sunrise, Florida.
Okay, got you.
Did you look at the line on that Lakers-Warriors matchup for tonight?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't believe for a minute that Golden State is going to bow out at home. But 7 is a little much.
Yeah.
I mean, 7, if that had been 4.5, 3.5, yeah, I'd have taken Golden State. But that said, since you've asked, Golden State is not losing tonight.
There's been rumors, how long are they going to play AD and LeBron tonight if it gets out of hand early?
That's the
guys.
Greeny keeps trying to put that out there.
You can only play with your food against the Warriors for so long.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we tried to explain to George the other night. They're going to go into it wanting to win, saying everything to win. If the game goes that way, they're going to keep playing. But if it gets out of hand, then LeBron and the boys are sitting this one out.
You already know LeBron, his mentality.
Close it out tonight.
He knows he needs to win tonight. They need to win tonight.
Because you go back home to crypto.com in game 6, all the pressure's on you. If you somehow lose that game, you're going back to Golden State game 7, all the momentum on their side. So,
have we had fun today?
Fun show.
I liked it.
Good.
A little bit of everything.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
Same time, same place. Billy, come with something better than that race car junk.
I'll do some research on NASCAR.
We'll see all of you tomorrow.
See you.